Hey guys, in the Jar Football Program, episode 178. What up, guys? Happy Monday. I'm Clark Dupree. This is in the Jar Football Podcast. Got a lot to talk about today. Our feature discussion. We are looking at a day of a lot of moves. We're going to try to cover it all here in about 23 minutes. We'll be with you here on the first day of legal tampering in the NFL. Almost too many moves for us to even keep track of. Where do we even start? But I will tell you one thing. Days like today are nothing but, at least at the start, periods of complete angst for Bengals fans. The hours go by, and every team is making splashes, making moves. And the Bengals are almost like that SpongeBob meme where Squidward is staring out the window shades from his upstairs bedroom, and SpongeBob and Patrick are outside playing, having a good time. Just jokes. The Bengals ended up making some moves. Particularly, they signed a defensive end from Seattle, Odafe. How the hell you say that bastard's name? Boye Mafe. Good player, remember him. And then the Bengals also signed Brian Cook. We'll get our reaction to that here shortly. A lot of other moves. A lot of, I wouldn't even call them fringe level players. They're like fringe franchise players, fringe superstars moving around today. You know, players like Alex Anzalone. Players like Michael Pittman Jr., Wan'Dale Robinson, just to name a few. Malik Willis really impressed in certain games last year. There was a game that I particularly remember that Malik Willis played. I can't remember who it was against. The Packers ended up losing. And, but Malik Willis's stock really benefited. Release the doo-doo. Appreciate it, my friend. I can't see your avatar, so I was about to call you my brother. You could be a woman. Probably not, though. Malik Willis, I mean, hell, man. Tyler Linderbaum, a couple others, and you go through the first, like I said, as a Bengals fan, the first couple of hours of days like today are gruesomely infuriating, because you're sitting around wondering if Duke Tobin's even made it out of bed yet, the de facto GM. I got to remind everybody who the hell the Bengals GM is every time I mention him, because he's not actually our GM. And, yeah, I mean, some players you'd think would be a franchise fit. Somebody like Tua Tagovailoa is not a franchise player. I don't care how you swing it. I think the treatment of Tua the last couple of years by the Dolphins has been completely warranted. Tua, I think, should have retired from football 2 years ago or a year ago, because the guy is clearly not right compared to what he used to be. He's been concussed badly a few times. I've never even really been concussed badly. For me, it's a lot of micro concussions, and I still forget the goddamn keys every now and then. And Tua has had, 4 or 5 significant concussions where he's literally like this. You know, your fingers are all like, I'm not making fun of him like that. Or it's like when your arm is like stretched out and you're slumped. Dude, those are bad concussions, man. And Tua's had like 4 of them. I don't understand why Tua is still playing. I don't understand why the Atlanta Falcons add him today. I have no clue what's going on with the Falcons organization. I know I love seeing videos on Twitter of Atlanta Falcons Twitter spaces, and it's just 4 or 5 guys making a ruckus at a time, and one of them's got gunshots going in the background, and they're like, sell the fucking team, man. I don't give a fuck no more. Sell the fucking team, man. And everybody's clamoring. It's a lot like Atlanta itself, or Birmingham, if you really have Southern ball knowledge. These Twitter spaces are a really good kind of gauge on, like, Saints Twitter spaces are fire. They're wild. They're chaotic. The Bengals Twitter spaces are a lot like, well, the organization is just doing the best it can with what they've got. It's not really like that. Some Bengals fans sound like that to me. What really freaking bugs me and pisses me off is when somebody shills for the Bengals. And we'll get into the moves that the Bengals made today. I'm not as upset as I was earlier on. Let's just say that. And, you know, you get to a point with the Cincinnati Bengals where you almost kind of got to be a psychological, impenetrable force to not let the idiocy, for the most part, of the Cincinnati Bengals absolutely infuriate you. Okay, but I think it's taken me 20-something years to finally kind of build up that mental callus with my Bengals where you let the rage get you for a moment when something bad happens, and it seems like over and over again that's what the deal is for the Bengals. You become mentally, emotionally numb to it. Okay, but today's not really one of those days. Today, the Bengals signed first Brian Cook. He's a safety from Kansas City. 3 years, $40.25 million. Hey, what the fuck is going on with some of these guys I've never really heard of getting paid $40 million over 3 years? Now, I watched film on Brian Cook. I kind of am embarrassed to say that I didn't really know who he was going into today, but I didn't. And watching the film, it looks like exactly what the Bengals were missing. A safety that can tackle, that can rumble up there. We got Brittany Young-Quist in the chat spamming 6'7". That's pretty cool. Brian Cook, yeah, did not know who he was before today. Tell me I don't know ball. Did not know who he was before today. Watched some film on him. The guy rumbles upfield. He makes big hits at the point of contact on the ball carrier. He understands how to tackle. Statistically, 4th best among safeties, I believe, in terms of missed tackles or lack thereof. He's exactly what Geno Stone isn't or wasn't. And let me tell you this. If Geno Stone goes back and signs with the Baltimore Ravens, I will be convinced the motherfucker's a double agent. I will be convinced that he cut a deal with Baltimore before he came to Cincinnati and said, Yep. We'll pay you X amount. We need you to rot the Cincinnati Bengals from the inside out. We need you to be a cancer to the locker room. We need you to miss every single tackle. We need you to half-ass every single rep in order to harm our division opponent, Cincinnati Bengals. They've got the best quarterback in the history of the game, and you're on the defensive side of the ball, so you can absolutely derail this team with your blunders. And Geno Stone just said, okay, yes, coach. Yes, big Yahoo. I'm going to go rot the Bengals from the inside out for a year and then come back to my masters, the Baltimore Ravens. That's what happened with Geno Stone. Geno Stone is the most terrible, worst excuse for an NFL safety I believe I've ever seen. And the guy played horrendous, terrible, infuriatingly bad for the whole year. And then he gets a pick six against the Patriots late in the year in a game that we lost, and goes to Twitter to gloat about it after the game, the same day they lost. If I see Geno Stone in stripes again, well, and we won't, which is great, but if I saw Geno Stone in stripes again, I'd throw up everywhere. Can't stand the guy. Jordan Battle, not that much better, still around, Alabama product, coached by Saban, so there's at least we have something there with Jordan Battle. Next person the Bengals signed was Boye Mafe, an edge player, 3-year, $60 million deal. So today is the day where organizations are going to take a chance on, like I said, fringe franchise players, and they'll either pay these guys $60 million for nothing if they don't materialize, or they get a good deal and they get great return on investment. A lot of people wanted to compare this Boye Mafe signing to Trey Hendrickson. And let me tell you, buddy, we got to stop doing that shit. We got to stop saying, oh, well, Boye Mafe pressured the passer on 10% of reps, and he graded out at an 85 overall, according to PFF. And Trey Hendrickson also happened to have 4 fingernails trimmed in week 13 of 2021, just like Boye Mafe did. So this is objectively a great move by the Bengals. He's going to turn out like Trey Hendrickson. Like, we need to stop it. We need to stop that crap. We need to stop being stat merchants. And we need to stop comparing really one player to the next. It's fun to do in basketball, but football it's much more nuanced. You love to do a player comp in basketball. You take Tim Duncan in the early 2000s and compare him to, hell, I don't know. I guess I do this because I have the skill of speaking on the spot. Don't have it in this moment. You take Magic Johnson and compare him to, like, who's a tall point guard? John Wall. You know, that's fun. You can say, oh, well, he's 6'7", he's 6'4". You know, he's a sharpshooter. Or neither one of those guys are really sharpshooters. That's why I compared him. Matt, you know, great handle of the ball, floor general. You can get away with comparing players in basketball, but don't come on my timeline on Twitter and say, well, Boye Mafe, who was just signed to the Cincinnati Bengals, had a a pressure rate of 11% going into his free agency year, the same as Trey Hendrickson. So that must mean that both guys are going to have the same production and pan out the same. It's really the stat merchant shit that bugs the hell out of me. Watch some goddamn film. Let's see. I wonder if I shared my screen on here, it'd probably slow us down. I'm thinking about adding some visual aid to the show, get us going a little bit. We will be adding call-ins soon as well, whether that's fans leave or whether that's viewers leaving voicemails and we respond to them, or whether that's actual live call-ins. I'm not sure yet. Isaiah Likely headed to the New York Giants, a 3-year, $40 million deal. I really like it a lot. There's a couple of teams that are making a ton of moves today. The most active by far has been the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders just signed former Ravens center Tyler Linderbaum to a pretty big deal. I'm trying to find it here. Record deal with the Raiders, 3 years, $81 million, $60 million guaranteed. Dolphins. So let's kind of try and stay on track here. Isaiah Likely, I think it's a great signing for the Giants. Isaiah Likely might have been one of the most underutilized weapons in the NFL this year. And I believe he was struggling with some injuries. Obviously, he was splitting targets with Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. You got Derrick Henry back there. Lamar Jackson was hurt a big part of the year. It makes sense why the Ravens are moving on from Isaiah Likely. And it makes sense why the Giants are taking on Isaiah Likely. If you think about it, other than that Theo Johnson guy for New York, the tight end, I can't really think of any tight ends notable enough on the New York Giants roster. And really the only reason I know who Theo Johnson was, and this is very internet gossip of me, is because he went out with Brianna Chicken Fry or something. She's very hot. But I digress. That's the only reason I knew who the New York Giants Theo Johnson was. It's because of a bunch of barstool slop on my freaking Snapchat timeline. Guys, if you're scrolling Snapchat like those stupid-ass TMZ, gossipy, Hawk Tua girl, like Snapchat media, just know you're being a good goy. And it's all slop. It's all slop. When you get to that point of scrolling, you got to put the phone down. But that's how I learned about Theo Johnson on the New York Giants. Now, he did score some touchdowns. He seems like a good light-skinned fella, mixed-race fella. But the Giants sign Isaiah Likely. He'll be a great threat. You got an up-and-comer that'll be able to get him the ball in Jackson Dart. We will see about how Cam Scadabaugh's career pans out. I'm not sure if the way he plays is the most sustainable, and that's coming from a guy who used to play that way and act that way. I used to be very CTE Maxx. All right, let's cover a couple more of these, and then I got to get out of here, guys. Really appreciate everybody watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you ain't sold on the channel yet, you will be once you go over there, especially if you're a football fan. Smash that subscribe button. Part of the reason we do this podcast vertical is so that we pop up in your live feed, and it makes you really easy to just click that button right down there. Hit it, Do it now. And if you don't want to do it now, go check out the channel, and then you'll want to do it now. Double like the screen bare minimum. If you don't do either, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Let's cover the rest of this. We will unpack more of this tomorrow. We're live every single weekday. Even more reason to subscribe to the channel. Constant football content. Jets are signing Joseph Osai, former pass rusher. I don't know what the specifics of the deal are at the moment, but I know he got paid. And sad to see him go. If the Bengals didn't sign Boye Mafe, they would be missing their best two edge rushers on a defense that already sucked. So, glad to see Joseph Osai get paid. Do I think he's going to go to the New York Jets and flourish? No, I think his career is probably going to crash and burn there. I hope I'm wrong. Michael Pittman Jr. being traded to the Steelers makes sense. Indy just signed Alec Pierce, the exciting white, the athletic, long, handsome white Alec Pierce. They signed him to a massive deal. I think they pay him like $114 million or something. And so it makes sense why they would move on from Michael Pittman Jr. And it makes sense why Michael Pittman Jr. would head to Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh, like we talked about on the show last week, is in major need of explosive offensive weapons. Michael Pittman does just that. And I think that will be much more enticing for Aaron Rodgers to consider returning to the Steelers. Still heard nothing on that yet. All sides have stated how they felt. And so Aaron Rodgers might just be relishing the media attention that he's getting, holding out. Or he's doing ayahuasca, pondering a major life decision. Maybe we should give him the benefit of the doubt. Wan'Dale Robinson headed to the Tennessee Titans, reuniting with Titans OC and his former head coach, Brian Dable. Think it's great for the Titans. The Titans are another organization that are really active today. They signed that defensive lineman from Denver that's really good. There's talks about Jeffrey Simmons, the leader of that defense in Nashville for a long time, being on the move, but nothing happening yet. A lot of Bengals fans would like to see Jeffrey Simmons in stripes. Wan'Dale Robinson heading over there. He's got a great quarterback in Cam Ward. He reunites with Brian Dable. I'm sure despite the performance or the underperformance of the Titans, Wan'Dale Robinson's excited to head over there. Mike Evans is expected to sign a 3-year deal with the San Francisco 49ers. Mike Evans' hamstring is literally going to fall off the bone once he gets next to that damn electricity plant next door to the 49ers practice facility. Why in the hell would Mike Evans want to head to San Francisco with his injury issues? They literally practice next to poisonous electromagnetic fields. It's bad for you. People put it there for a reason. They want to keep us down. They want to keep our football players down. They don't want to see a white man excel at running back. They want to keep Christian McCaffrey down. That's why they put a damn electromagnetic electricity plant next to the 49ers practice facility. They want to transmit goy slop through the air on our football players, because football is the most American sport that you can come up with. So I was shocked to see Mike Evans sign with the San Francisco 49ers, given his injury history. I think, and then you got Anzalone. I really got to go. You got Anzalone with the Bucks, 2 years, $17 million. Alex Anzalone, long blonde hair, an Italian stallion, if you will, Alex Anzalone. I like saying his name in that way. You could say it a couple of different ways. Alex Anzalone or Alex Anzalone. You know, it just kind of rolls. Anzalone. And the garlic bread and the pizza and the longer blonde hair. Alex Anzalone heading to Tampa, the linebacker. The Bengals need a linebacker, but are they so hard-headed that they roll with the two worst inside linebackers in football in Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight or not? Panthers are signing Jalen Phillips, who's an edge player, 4-year, $120 million deal. This guy is grossly overpaid, guys. I don't know what. It's probably the new league year, more revenue flowing in. These guys are able to dish out higher contracts. 4 years for $120 million for a guy who was out for the season for like 2 or 3 of the last 4 years is insane. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Jalen Phillips could pan out. I know the Eagles were trying to retain him, and they did not. Malik Willis is headed to the Dolphins. And I really have to go, guys. But I love you. Maxx Crosby obviously headed to the Ravens. That shit pissed me off. That shit pissed Jamar Chase off. And for good reason. There's not much the Bengals can do about it, but you had Bengals beat writers writing about how the Bengals thought about being in talks for Maxx Crosby. Do you think the Bengals would ever bring on a high-profile player like that? He's too expensive for those cheap motherfuckers in the Bengals front office, number one. Number two, it would be too cool for the Cincinnati Bengals front office to do that. They're not in the business of doing anything that is cool or gets people excited. And it would be much too logical, given the fact that you have a couple of defensive ends on the way out in Cincinnati. Now you have Boye Mafe. It makes it a little better. But just think about it. If a move you think in your head as a football fan or a Bengals fan would be cool, logical, or good for the team, the Cincinnati Bengals won't do it. They'll try to find the cheapest way. They'll try to find the IKEA version of that couch that you really liked on Facebook Marketplace. They'll try to get the IKEA version. They'll probably not want to pay for shipping, so they'll let's drive 45 minutes to the IKEA warehouse and trudge around in there for 50 minutes just so we save $5 in shipping. That's the Cincinnati Bengals in a nutshell. Is any of that cool or logical to do? Absolutely not. And that's why the Bengals do what they do, because they want to be smart. They want to appear smart. They want to appear contrarian just for its own sake. It's not about actually like winning or being smart or anything. The Bengals organization cares about being right and getting good deals all the time. And listen, I love a good deal. But when we're driving 45 minutes to the big-ass IKEA warehouse to pick up a bargain couch that we got from IKEA because it was a bargain in the first place, all just to save $5 on shipping, is that wise? I'd say no. I'm heading out, guys. I love you so much. Subscribe to the channel. We will cut up some clips for you this week. Try and make some bangers. Try and make some banger podcast episodes. Listen, I know some of you in here are not subscribed, so I think you should do it. We've had a pretty good episode today. This is just a small taste of what it could be, should be, and will be here on In the Jar football program. So I love you guys. Bear minimum, just double tap the goddamn screen for me, please. Thank you. And that's it, man. We will